Greetings, humans, and welcome back to week 2 of devlogging about Coffee Shop the RPG. So this is the second week of consistent devlogging, which I'm committed to do, and it is apparently, I did the math, the 11th week since I first started this project, since the first time I started throwing down some brick tile pieces to see if I could build this beautiful coffee shop that I miss so very much. And we're really rounding out the rule of the last 10% of the game takes 90% of the time. So progress looks less concretely exciting, less obvious, less visual, but it is really getting to a point where I could almost let human beings walk around inside here. So the first feature that we have is that fly up text that you're seeing now that shows you when you find spare change. So randomly finding spare change in places in the coffee shop is the only way to actually get money, besides some scripts that I wrote to give me money every time I connect for testing purposes. So that has been happening since actually very early in this project, but it hasn't been clear what's been happening at all. So that's the first feature. Next one is the leaderboard with kind of a strange camera movement. It's intended to line up with the world space leaderboard, but seems to still be kind of dependent on what the player's position was when they entered the trigger. But you can see that I am tracking the number of drinks that people have bought since the start of the game and the number of days, just days anytime. There's another bonus for consistent login streak in terms of how much spare change you get, but I have nothing that exposes that yet. And I'm still missing the UI tool showing the cursor so that you can hit that X in the corner to close it. Besides that, we fixed this entire morning was fixing a bug with how the coffee announcement server worked. We've got this dialogue with Tom, which I believe was in place before. Tom is a friend of mine who is a barista and helped me do some of the work in designing the space and giving it realism. We fixed the bug that made the coffee cup difficult to pick up. And newest feature, very exciting feature, is when you finish your coffee, I'll start running to the gas station. Am I changing my camera control mode? To show you, but the newest feature is that we should be able to throw coffee away in literally any trash can in the game. So these are trash cans that I made here, and there's one here way in the corner that should theoretically also is hovering above the air, but should theoretically also constitute a trash can. So I'm going to use my throwaway ability, and it's not working. Let's try again. Woo! We did it! Threw away coffee in a random trash can. So now any trash can that I place in the appropriate folder counts, and we can get rid of the coffee that way. Very exciting. Being able to throw away your coffee in a trash being able to throw away your coffee in a gas station trash can is obviously the feature we've all been waiting for. And this trash can works as well. I've tested this one. I've got the change set on a higher probability than usual. So features coming up are getting that same kind of camera movement for the menu open, and for when you're playing the Flappy Bird game, try to line it more closely with the world. And maybe there's a way to perfect that I'm still figuring out. And besides that, there's just a million debuggings with the flow of coffee buying, especially once multiple players are doing it all out of sequence, and refactoring an organization. Let's see here. I have probably in this project, let's see, how many scripts do we actually have? We can look at this. 1 million scripts. I am probably using a third of these. So tons of these scripts are ones that I created and then just decided on a different way to implement it as I went. So that's a little bit of the challenge there. And obviously we've just got a ton of warns and print lines that are there for debugging that need to be removed. So I've got that coming up. One of the other things that I'm working on is the audio trigger. So when I start now, if you listen carefully, you can hear the bustling and bumping of an inside a restaurant sound, which really helps do the ambience for inside the coffee shop, but you should not be able to hear it outside the door. So I was using the normal like spatialization and occlusion features, but what I need to do is replace that with a trigger that really starts the sounds when you enter the box and ends them when you stop. So that should hopefully just increase the realism of that experience and focus on. There's also some outdoor noises around here. There might actually be some like ambient vocal noises, but essentially in order to create those sounds we need the busyness, so we need more NPCs in the coffee shop to justify the number of voices that you hear and things like that. But we're working on that, and yeah, that is all of the upcoming. We've got also my friend Dylan made some dialogues for me to implement with all the characters that are going to allow them to customize their experience with you, basically based on how you get experience based on your level. So it's going to be how much you have had coffees in the coffee shop, and planned features that are going to allow you to sort of establish yourself more and more at these higher levels as you become a coffee shop regular. Business cards right there. That's where the business cards go, and you'll be able to add your business card once you're level 10 or something. Haven't figured out the exact balancing and details, but that's the idea. So thank you. Remember to subscribe if you want more updates. I stream on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, and Saturdays, except this week, but Saturdays at 1 p.m. Pacific, streaming usually this project, sometimes other core projects. And you can also find me on Twitter at ZazLinkus. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the future.